Welcome to Lockdown Economy, a social nonprofit initiative by think tank AlterContacts to help small businesses and self employed professionals overcome the challenges of the pandemic and reactivate the economy. My name is Julie Jerusalem, and today our guest is Carlo Sumaoang, the founder of Manila Growkits. Hello, Carlo, how are you?
Hi, Julie. Hi. Thank you very much for inviting us. I'm doing great. And yeah, I hope you are doing great too.
Well, I'm also doing great. Thank you. Nice knowing that you're doing fine as well. So, Carlo, share
Salamat.
to us, what do you do as a business?
All right. Well, first things first, I'm actually part of a family business. The family business is engaged in agriculture. So for the longest time, I think roughly around 3 decades already, we've been in the business of producing organic fertilizers for the agriculture sector. So that's one. And I'm also, again, as you've mentioned, I'm the founder and CEO of Manila Growkits. Basically, Manila Growkits is a young company. We were founded back in 2015 with the advocacy of really trying to change the perspective of agriculture or the young ones towards agriculture. Because just to give you an idea, when we launched back in 2015, we conducted a survey. Since I am a millennial myself, I was really kind of curious how agriculture can be part of the lifestyle of the young ones. We conducted a survey back in 2015 and we asked people living in Metro Manila, which is an urban area, one simple question: what do you think about farming and gardening in general? And while we were waiting for the results of this small, simple survey, we're actually thinking now it's okay, it's gonna be okay. Like the kids are actually very much into agriculture. But when we crunched the numbers, it showed us that almost 80% of the young ones living in Metro Manila have zero or negative connotation about farming. Some of them said farming is not for me, it's just dirty, it's just getting my skin all dark. So we were kind of curious, and lo and behold, again, as everybody says, the rest is history. We've been trying to push our products here in Metro Manila, really just to change that specific mindset that farming is not for the young ones. Farming is just dirty. Farming doesn't have any value in their lifestyle. So we've been doing that for almost 5 years now, and it's such an amazing ride, I guess.
So you're primarily focused on urban agriculture, am I correct?
Yes, yes. So it's basically agriculture and urban agriculture. That's basically the circle I move around in.
Okay, Carlo, like tell us something about Manila Grow Kids profile. Like, where are you based? How many employees
Sure.
do you have, and your usual number of customers?
Okay, Manila Grow Kits, we're based in Metro Manila, hence Manila Grow Kits. But surprisingly, when we launched back in 2015, our laser focus, specifically demographically speaking, is just Metro Manila. But as it turned out, we've been lucky enough to be featured to a lot of agriculture newspaper articles. Hence, we are actually covering the entire Philippines currently. We do have different retail partners across the Philippines. If I remember it right, we have 30 retail partners scattered all over the country. This is Metro Manila. Of course, bulk of it is in Metro Manila. We have in Cebu, in Davao. We also have some in Baguio. So geographically speaking, we're basically serving the entire of the Philippines. Demographically speaking, when we launched, again, we were laser focused in targeting the young ones, the millennials, just like me. But as it turns out, a lot of the parents are actually seeing value to the grow kits. Manila Grow Kits is basically selling the grow kits. It is a simple box complete with everything you need to grow. I think I have a box without a label. So it's just a small box. This is without a label basically, but it contains everything you need to grow your plants. So moving forward, I think it was 2 or 3 years after we launched, um, parents started picking up the product because they saw a value in it in terms of really trying to teach their kids not just farming but different virtues and values that goes along with the planting. We have patience, we have appreciation for greenery, eating their vegetables. So we kind of like transitioned into the family unit
Yes,
2 years
yes.
after we launched. And then just recently, I think we now are enjoying the space within the corporate clientele. So a lot of companies, big companies here in the Philippines, are actually commissioning us purchasing kits from us in either human resource activation. So they basically just give their kits to their employees, of course, to de-stress, for them to have a plant baby, since plantita and plantita is all the rage now. Second, they're actually giving it as Christmas presents. So we do have a lot of big clients basically that has been purchasing grow kits year on year from us. So basically, the demographics, our usual clientele, currently now still the family unit. Apparently, most of our initial customers or millennials are actually in the family category now, because this is like
Yes.
some of them are already
5 years
33.
after.
Exactly. So we're actually just following their life stages. So now they're a family and they're still embrace us. Of course, corporate clients and even schools. We've been heavy in schools. We've been collaborating with a lot of universities here in the Philippines, basically really just trying to infuse our GrowKits as a means of educational material for their students to study plants, basically. So that's in a nutshell. That's basically what Manila GrowKits is doing and moving around in this circle.
Okay, Carlo, like tell us something about your food drive partnership or collaboration with Red Cross.
Yeah. So aside from Manila Grow Kits, which is basically urban gardening, I'm also affiliated with Slow Food Youth Network Philippines. So Slow Food basically is an international organization, basically pushing the advocacy of providing good, clean, and fair food for everybody. So we, as you all know, we've been ravished by the recent typhoon Ulysses. So we are actually collaborating with Red Cross for us to have a warm food drive. So basically, it's a collaboration between Slow Food Network and, of course, Red Cross.
Carlo, during the start of the lockdown, a lot of individuals have nothing else to do at home. They got bored, so they opted to grow their own plants. They became very engrossed in gardening. So, tell us, like, with the emergence of a bigger market, what have Manila Grow Kits done to meet the rising demands during the lockdown?
It's kind of difficult for us. And I think I don't know if you're gonna ask me about the pandemic, but surprisingly enough, when the pandemic hit and then when the lockdown started, it was actually one of the biggest seasons for us, because Manila Growkits usually enjoys a seasonal kind of demand. So our season is basically the gift giving season, which is currently
Yes.
happening now, which is the Christmas and holiday season. Next is, of course, Valentine's Day, because our kids are actually being chosen as an alternative to flowers. So if you want flowers, you just grow your own flowers. But yeah, during the pandemic, it was such a hit for most of the family units. Because, of course, when the lockdown happened, the initial impulse of everybody was where to find food, where to purchase vegetables. And none of the families actually want to go outside to risk their health just to purchase vegetables. And I think it was that turning point for the Metro Manila society to really look at agriculture into, hey, I think I really need to start learning how to grow my own food. And that's where Manila Grow Kits came in the picture during the pandemic, because we saw an uptick in sales when the lockdowns happened. We're trying to serve different family units, purchasing a lot of grow kits. Most of them are vegetables, of course. And it was so amazing for us to realize that people would go back to their roots, particularly farming and agriculture, once you lock them down and remove the clutter in their head of work and stuff like that. So yeah, so what we did to cope up with the demand is basically to strengthen our supply chain. It was very hard for us to purchase anything during the lockdown, let alone seeds, because seeds are actually being apportioned to the farmers who need to have access to them to plant needed vegetables for Metro Manila. But what we did was we really tried our very best to pull strings around, because again, the family business is engaged in agriculture business, so we kind of like have all these strings that we can actually pull. So yeah, I think it's more of like really the logistics of things. It was really hard for us during that time to cope up with the demand. But I think most of our suppliers agreed with the advocacy. They are in line with what Manila Growkits is actually doing, and they saw the potential. So A lot of our suppliers actually went out of their way to provide the supplies to us, the coconut pots, the seeds in general, the soil and the fertilizers. And we really tried our very best to mobilize as many grow kits as possible because we saw an opening, we saw an opportunity really to push our advocacies, which is really trying to change the perspective of the young ones or the people living in Metro Manila towards agriculture. So it's more of like really trying to coordinate properly with our suppliers. That's how we really tried to cope up with the surge in demand.
So how is your business doing in general right now?
Oh, well, we can't complain because it's December, so it's the gift giving season. And again, I think bulk of uh, the growth that we're enjoying currently, 2020 December, is really brought about by the pandemic. I know this is not to negate all the sufferings or all the businesses that closed during the pandemic,
Mm-hmm.
but for agriculture, it has been an amazing ride during the pandemic because we've seen surge in demand, not only demand, but basically awareness. It is
Yes.
really the time when agriculture is really looked into an industry that actually is really important in society right now. So yeah, we're really just enjoying the growth basically, and we're trying our very best to really capture that opportunity given to us.
Well, Carlo, do you know how your customers and your competition are doing?
Oh, again, it is a double-edged sword.
Yeah.
When when the pandemic started, we're pretty confident because we're basically the biggest company in terms of selling brokens. And then the pandemic happened, and then we all of a sudden saw a lot of competition, which we're totally okay about it. It only goes to show that it is really the time for urban agriculture to shine. It's nice because we do see how many the group it started back in 2015, and seeing that with other entities, other companies, really trying to push the narrative. We don't take it negatively. We actually look at it as something constructive because the more people selling grow kits, the more people would have an opportunity to change their mindsets about agriculture, about farming. And I think at the end of the day, that's basically an advocacy we don't keep to ourselves, or this is an advocacy that we would like to share to our competitors. And I think it's such an amazing and a big opportunity for everybody in agriculture right now.
You mentioned earlier that the Yuletide season or the gift giving season in general is an advantageous setting for Manila Grow Kids. So, what is the outlook on the coming few months?
In the coming few months, we're actually looking at again, we're even before the holiday season started, we saw an uptick in our sales, and we really want to try to sustain that because again, it's like a gift given. It's
Yeah.
like a gift given to us. I mean, of course, again, not to negate all the hardships that all our fellow small businesses encountered during the pandemic, but I think specifically for us at Manila Grow Kids, we're very thankful that the awareness is there. So what we're trying to do is really, our outlook basically is still ongoing. That the growth rate is exponential. We're looking at it up until the first 2 quarters of 2021, since a lot of the brands, surprisingly, even cosmetic brands, are getting in touch with us, really trying to collaborate and join the bandwagon of the green movement, or knowing how to plant your own food, or plantito and plantita. Some soap companies, some facial wash companies are actually collaborating with us, which just blows our mind. Again, we're very happy because a lot of these companies are actually embracing agriculture now as part of their branding, as part of their advocacies as well. Yeah.
So, you had problems with like logistics during the pandemic. So, can you name three things like you need help with?
Oh yeah. First, I think, well, generally speaking, I think as a business owner, when I started Manila Growkits, it was just a single proprietorship, and now it's just a full corporation, registered for almost 5 years. But whenever people ask me this question, I always say to them, you know what? At the very heart of Manila Growkits, it's still me running it. And as an entrepreneur, I think first first thing that entrepreneurs need to realize is that they actually need help. because it's really hard for you to run a business. And eventually, if you're just running it by yourself, luckily for us at Manila Growkits, I have the most amazing partners there is that helps me really sustain the growth. But as an entrepreneur, specifically if you're just starting, you have to acknowledge that you need help. It will come to a point that, and this happened to me when I was starting Manila Grow Kids, it came to a point that the limitation of the business is my own skill sets. Because I was being pulled in so many directions, I was asked to collaborate with a lot of companies, and I am just one. So I think at the end of the day, acknowledging that you need help physically, of course, financially,
Mm-hmm.
and of course, the legwork would definitely go a long way. And it has been our mantra at Manila Grow Kids really to acknowledge help when we need to. So I think it's more of like a Miss Universe answer, a more encompassing and general answer. But I can't think of any that we need right now at Manila Grow Kids. But I guess the proper mindset in terms of handling or dealing with needs and helps, that will definitely go a long way.
Okay, Carlo, tell me what is different with Manila Grove Kits compared to other urban gardening shops?
Oh my God. All right. It's you put me on the spot there, Julia. But yeah, not to brag, and this is really me just stating the facts of how we do at Manila Grow Kits. Because when we started, a lot of the seed companies already have their own grow kits, their own version of grow kits. But I think what lacks the brands, the big seed companies grow kits is really insight. They forgot the fact that if you're trying to market a grow kit, you have to know what your market is, how they think. And luckily for us, we've invested with a lot of inciting researches and interviews. And as it provided us with so much insights, we knew for a fact that our target market, which is the young ones, are very image centric. They want everything that they purchase, they use to be Instagrammable. That's why we tried our very best to make our grow kits as Instagrammable as possible. Among other things, of course, this is just me stating the very much obvious in terms of the difference between our kits and their kits. But basically, it's insight. It's knowing what your customers are, want, needs, and they're purchasing, how they purchase again in their head. I think that's what separates us from the first grow kits from the seed companies. Moving forward, we've seen a lot of competition in the market right now, but I guess our advantage at Manila Grow Kits is backed up by real farmers. Again, our family business has been in the industry for almost 30 years right now. We know our soil, we know our seeds, we know how to grow properly our plants. And I think that has been the edge of Manila Grow Kits since we've seen a lot of competitors. But again, we don't hate our competitors. We're actually thankful for them. But yeah, I think what separates us is first, again, just to recap, it's insight. We've been continuously trying to learn and adapt to our customers. As a matter of fact, we actually forgot millennials already. We're actually focusing on Gen Zs or the edgers. So
Yes.
all our marketing tonalities, marketing campaigns are actually more geared towards the Gen Zs, not so with the millennials now. And second, again, is it is at the end of the day, we know that what you see in our grow kits is just marketing part of it. But at the very core of our grow kits, it is a plant kit backed up by real agriculture company with the real technical know-how. We mix our own soil. We have our own fertilizers. It is a patented fertilizer. And we collaborated with some of the biggest companies. Some of our competitors before, I don't want to name the companies, but they actually collaborated with us and shifted their grow kit manufacturing to us. So it's more of like a collaboration. So you, at the end of the day, Manila Grow Kits it's becoming the go-to grow kit wherein some of the biggest agriculture brands really trust us in executing it properly for them. So yeah, I think that's about it.
Okay, a local and urban frontliner in the green movement. This is Manila Grow Kids. Thank you so much, Carlo.
Maraming salamat, Julia, and thank you very much. I hope you guys will learn something from us.
Okay, thank you to everyone who joined us today. Feel free to contact Manila Grow Kids using the links in the description box, and I invite you to like this video, comment what you think about today's discussions, and subscribe to this channel. In the coming weeks, we're going to share more insights with you, so stay tuned. My name is Julie Jerusalem, and this is Lockdown Economy.